It's Britney, bitch.
Hey Shockwavers, what's up? I apologize for not uploading a video last week. It got really hectic on the road, and well, I guess it wasn't really hectic, but I was too busy. I don't know. I just didn't really have time to make a video. But I will answer all the questions now. My favorite musical album of 2008. Well, it didn't come out in 2008, but I have listened to it the most this year. That is Spring Awakening. It's a musical. I've talked about it like a gajillion times before, but it's honestly just such a really powerful show, and it kind of did impact my life. So that's what I listen to mostly. One thing I like about myself and one thing I dislike about myself. I actually made a whole video about this in response to somebody's little survey, I guess. My favorite thing is my smile. I love my dimples. I used to hate them, but they've grown on me. And my least favorite thing, or I guess one thing that like I kind of have a little bit of a complex about, is my ears. I feel like they're really big, too big for my head. 3 movies that I love that no one else said. Well, obviously, Simpsons movie. I have to say that first because I'm the biggest Simpsons fan on the channel by far, and probably in life. It had a lot of really awesome, subtle nods to the show and to different seasons and things like that, and I thought it was really well done. Number 2, Robin Hood Men in Tights. I can watch that movie at any time, and I just love it. I know pretty much all the words, and I think it's hilarious. I love Mel Brooks. I just think that that's like such a funny and awesome movie, and you guys should all see it. And then, gosh, it so depends on my mood, but I guess if I have to pick like an all-time favorite, it's really hard. I guess I'll pick a new movie, and I'll say Juno. I don't think anyone said it yet. I think Juno was a really cute movie. I think it was really well written, and I think it provided like a nice perspective into an intelligent teenager's life. Okay, so I think that it was really awesome that the Zombie Flanders asked us all personal questions. And first of all, I love your user handle. I think I've probably told you that before, but I'm not sure. I love that mine was Simpsons themed because obviously you love The Simpsons. Who Shot Mr. Burns? Parts 1 and 2 were awesome. I approve. My favorite episode of all time, gosh, that is a hard question, but I think it's usually Cape Fear. That's the one where they go into the Identity Protection Services or whatever, because Sideshow Bob gets out of prison and threatens to kill Bart, and they have to change their name to the Thompsons, and they move to Cape Fear. And I just love that one because it always makes me laugh out loud every single time I watch it.
Well, Bart, any last requests?
Well, there is one, but... Nah.
No, go on.
Well, you have such a beautiful voice.
Guilty as charged.
Uh-huh. Anyway, I was wondering if you could sing the entire score of the HMS Pinafore.
Very well, Bart. I shall send you to heaven before I send you to hell.
But I also really like A Streetcar Named Marge, which is the one where Marge is in Streetcar Named Desire, because I'm a theater nerd, and that one was awesome, and I love the songs. I seriously want to do a musical production of Streetcar because of it. Justin, you asked 3 relationship-themed questions, which I think is cool. The first one was your worst date ever. Gosh, I think I made a video about this on my channel. It was so bad. I went on a date with this guy who was a Southern Baptist, and I wouldn't mention his religion unless religion was relevant. But because I'm Jewish, well, somehow he brought up religion on the date. Okay, he was really obnoxious at first. I can't even explain. Like, he was that obnoxious guy at the sporting event that everybody wants to shut up, and he's like yelling and telling the players that they're his heroes, and oh gosh, it was just obnoxious to begin with. And then we went to dinner afterwards, which I really already didn't want to do and kind of got stuck doing. So at dinner, he brought up the fact that he was a Southern Baptist and asked me what religion I was. Well, I didn't really want to get into it, but I said I was Jewish. And he proceeded to tell me that the Holocaust was the punishment for the Jews killing Jesus. Talk about a bad date. And then he didn't understand why I didn't think it would work out between us. And I was like, well, you kind of think I'm going to hell. So that was my worst date ever. It was even worse than that. Go watch my video on it. I'll put a link in the sidebar. My best date ever. You know what? I don't know. Maybe it hasn't happened yet. How did you meet the person you're with now? I'm not with anyone now. Not technically. I'm single. Justin, you talked about maybe kind of making this channel sort of like a helpline or like an advice column. And I do think that's a really interesting idea, and I do think that there are appropriate ways to do that on YouTube. But to be quite honest, because I have to be honest, I really don't feel like I'm qualified to give people any sort of advice, and I do feel cautious giving people advice over the internet. I know it's a long shot, but I know people have been in situations that I've heard or read about where, you know, someone gave someone some sort of bad advice on the internet and the person ended up taking their life or harming someone else, or, you know, all those things. And I just don't want to be responsible for anything negative coming of it. I don't feel like I'm qualified really to give advice, other than I can talk based on my experiences. But, you know, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a counselor, and I would hate to steer someone the wrong way, especially when it's not someone I know. I hate to say it, I think it's a really cool idea, but I feel like I'm not the right person for it. Okay, so the coolest thing did happen this week, and that is that I got to meet Michael. And here's where you would imagine that I'd be inserting the video that we recorded together, but we didn't. We suck. Well, circumstances, time kind of limited us, so we didn't have a whole lot of time, so we just spent it chatting at a coffee house, and he's awesome. And next time we'll actually take a video, I promise. We meant to. We, like, talked about it before we met up, and then it just didn't happen. Okay, so this week I want to know what your favorite book is. I'm a really big reader, especially in the summertime, because there's nothing better than like hanging out outside under a tree and reading a good book. So I want to know what your favorite book is, or your favorite genre of books, or, you know, what kind of things you're reading right now. So the book that I'm reading right now is called The Mermaid Chair. I'm about halfway through it. It's an interesting book. It's kind of a love story, and I'm not usually too big on love stories, but if they're really well done, then I'll enjoy them. I do like this, though. I think it's well written, and I'm enjoying it so far. Next on my list for the summer is Harry Potter, Book 7, because I've read all the other ones, and I have not read this one yet, and I've also managed to not hear what happens. So, if you know, please do not put any spoilers in the comments. I have worked really hard to not find out what happens in this book. Now it's been out for, what, over a year, and I still don't know. So I really want to be surprised, so do not spoil it for me. And then I think that one of my favorite books of all time that I've ever read is this book. It's called Claire Marvel by John Burnham Schwartz. It's actually also a love story, but it's told from a man's perspective, and that's what I found really enthralling about it. It's a beautiful book. I highly recommend it.